Good evening. Good evening. Happy Monday. Hopefully, you all are having an amazing Monday. I haven't been live in, I can't tell you how long. It feels good to be live again. Hey. Lori, if you look in the very bottom of the phone, you will see a welcome. Well, there you go. Knowing what to do. Go ahead, Sharon, and hit the video add button. I am bringing you up, bringing up Lori. Hey, good people. Accept. Hey, friend.
Hi. How are you?
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
Hi. How are
How are
you?
you, ladies?
Good.
Good. How
You?
are you?
Man, so let me introduce to you my good friend, whom I've literally known for 20 years. She is one of the most amazing souls I have ever encountered. Like literally, she's sweet, she's smart, she is just all of the things. Hey, Majors, I see you in the building. Go ahead and hit the video add button so we can add you on here, and we can bring everybody in. So we will see you. Joining. So, Lori, I want you to meet Sharon. Sharon, I want you to meet Lori.
Hi,
And I don't
Lori.
give you any backstory, but Sharon is absolutely beautiful. She is
Yes,
amazing.
it is.
She
Thank
is,
you. So are you?
Thank you.
yeah. I'm gonna stop with all of my
Here
yeah,
you go.
yeah, because I could go on and on for like a mile a minute. Because there we
Oh,
go. And
okay.
now we are bringing in my good friend, um, Mr. Majors, Mr. Dewan Majors. Boy, I tell you what, let me tell you something about this guy. This guy has been cutting my hair, gosh, dog, for 15 years. So I have loyalty in my blood. So, welcome everybody to, I don't even have a name of the podcast yet, but to my right. I'm so used to being live on a podcast that when I go left, it actually is right. So it's inverted. Anyways, to my right is Lori. Below me is the beautiful Sharon, and next to her is Mr. Majors. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, and I'll introduce myself as well. Lori, go
Good.
first.
All right. I'm Lori. It's a pleasure to meet you guys. I'm from Atlanta, born and raised. Just moved back to Atlanta from Charlotte. What do you want me to go over? I mean, I don't know.
Name, where you from? That's good.
Yeah, and I guess that's it.
Where you from? Where you from? What do you do for a living, Lori?
I am a realtor in Atlanta.
Where you from?
You need help.
Right.
You really do.
He knows, though.
Go tell nobody. Um,
And that's it for me.
Fantastic. And Sharon, go ahead and introduce
I
yourself.
am Sharon Days. I am a Georgia native as well. I was born in Savannah but lived in Atlanta just about all of my life. And I work in special education.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want y'all to know she said Days, not Davis, So, no, that's not my
Stop.
ex-wife. I just want y'all to know, no exes in the building. No exes in the champagne room. Mr.
DAYS.
Dewan Majors, go ahead and introduce yourself, good sir.
Okay, my name is Dewan Majors. I'm originally from Kentucky, but I'm really a Georgia boy because I've been here since I was like 10 years old. But for the homegrowns, you got to put that disclaimer on it because they'll come after you if you don't.
That's right.
But I'm a barber. I'm a licensed barber. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I'm also an educator for barbering and cosmetology as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fantastic. And good evening. I am Chris Davis, born in Little Rock, Arkansas, which a lot of people don't know.
I did not know that.
Raised in Buffalo, New York. Moved to Atlanta. Been in Atlanta for about 25 years. I am still from Buffalo, so please don't try me. As my good friend Lori would say, I'm from the hood.
Really, that's the hood.
Well, see, here's the thing. So Lori and I have this running joke. Like I said, I've known Lori since like 2005. Actually, she's my Spelman sister as well, which is kind of crazy. We didn't know each other in school. We met afterwards. So the short story about that is she she would always tell me that she's hood. And I'm like, but you went to Woodward.
Like, okay, we're going to stop throwing all my business out there.
That's
First
it.
things
I'm
first.
like,
First things first.
the math wasn't
First.
the math wasn't mathing. So, but that's it.
I'm going to need you to chill out. I'm going to need you to chill out.
That's all I gotta say. I'm just saying the math wasn't mathing. Anyways, so I'm so glad you all can join tonight. Here's the thing. So the title of the podcast or of tonight's show is there pee in the pool or is it your perspective? And I've heard, and let me ask you this. Have you heard that there is pee in the dating pool?
All the time.
I hadn't heard it put quite like that, but yes, I've heard some things.
You've heard it. So
like that, but
Right. Not quite like that, but yes, I've heard.
So what have you heard?
Can't say that I've heard that there was pee in the pool, but I have heard that well, I think that in general, people are all looking for the same thing. Everybody wants that level of companionship and love and genuine understanding, but I think that sometimes we all go about it in a different way. We don't speak each other's languages and stuff like that. And so from what I'm hearing is that a lot of people feel like there's a lot of unnecessary drama associated with dating. Like it could be so much easier, but people make it more complicated. That's the gist of what my best friends are saying. I'm just being real. That's what they say at brunch. These are the brunch topics.
So how is it that people make dating? I mean, because people are dating, right? So
I think what they're saying is that we all have our own junk and mess, right? And they just don't play well in the sandbox together sometimes. I mean, that's just in a nutshell what I'm gathering.
So Sharon, Dewan, where do you guys think that comes from? Why is it that we can't we all just get along? Where do you guys think that comes from?
I mean, let's see. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sharon.
I was just going to say, I think there are a lot of good men and good women out there, but it's a matter of who you're attracted to. And so when you find yourself not attracted to certain types of people, then you start to kind of push them all in this box of there's nobody out there, there's nobody good out here, but it's not that they're not good, it's just they're not meeting your standards or whatever your criteria is, or that physical attraction might not be there. And so you're lumping all of this dating into one, area that it doesn't really apply.
I think everybody's trying to date the same kind of person. All the women trying to date the same kind of man, all the men trying to date the same kind of women. You know what I mean? I think for real, people got to sit down and try to figure out who they are themselves. Because most people out here dating just for dating, and they haven't sit down and figured out what it is they really like. They just go for what they think they should like, what social media tell them they should like, what music tell them they should like. And then when they get it, it's like, dang, is this what's out there? But you don't know what you're really looking for. You just scrolling through. Whatever you find, whatever you look at, oh, I like it, I'm going to go for it.
So if you like it and you go for it, and Sharon said something really interesting, right? You go for who you're attracted to. So does physical attraction matter on a 1 to 10, right? Or is it that, like Dewan said, you don't really know what you're looking for, and so you should be looking for more character than you should be solely physical attraction?
I think you have to be attractive, you know what I mean, in some shape, form, or fashion, because if you're not attractive, if I can't look at you and like what I see, you're not going to get to the next part.
Right.
You just going
you think about how dating apps are. You're swiping based on pictures. That's how dating is now. So you're going by attraction first, and then you dive in a little bit further and see what the personality is and if y'all mesh, what the chemistry is. But it's number one, you're looking at their face and body and all of that. Let's be real.
Yeah, because that goes with hygiene, the way you carry yourself. If you ain't got all that stuff together, people gonna walk past you. Now, I think the thing be that most people will get to that attraction part and just, oh, they look good. That's what I want. And then when you get to them, you just stand with them because of that, when that's not how it's supposed to go.
So I heard a philosophy that I've kind of learned to sort of adopt, because I am of the mind too that I want to be physically attracted to you, right? So there has to be some type of base level, you know what? I can see myself with this person, right? I did hear, and I've been trying to work with this, and you all tell me what you think about this. If money can fix it, you shouldn't cancel the person.
Depends
That's
on what.
tricky.
But you already trying to change them. Like
Right,
you already got them
No,
on
exactly.
no,
that.
no, no,
You
no,
already
no.
got them at Dr. Miami. I'm just saying. I'm saying. How
So
does that work? You just met her. Now you got her on the table at Dr. Miami. How does that really work?
Now, hold on. He didn't say
so so
cosmetically. Now he didn't say cosmetically.
so not trying to change her or him, but let's just say like she is working out, right? But she doesn't have, like, let's say she walks 2 miles a day, but what she needs is a trainer and a better health, a food regimen, right?
Okay.
And so you add, see, I believe in adding value, right? So
Okay.
added value is, you know what, babe, I see you're already on the path. Now that's important. There has to be a mindset to be on the path, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I can help and I can add value, you know what? I see you're struggling here. Maybe you need a better meal plan because you leave at this time. You leave at this time. You have to eat out at lunch because you're not bringing. Let me just help you meal plan. That's what I'm saying. If money can fix it, not take it.
Okay, because I was about to say. I was
Right.
about to say. Okay. So what you're
Both looking
saying is that you're gonna bring some added value. You're gonna get her on a meal plan
I'm
or
not
or a
saying I'm
meal
gonna do
prep.
anything.
No, you're gonna help somebody get a regimen.
But
You're gonna help them
no, they
get
asking for your help. There's a fine line there. Fine line.
Chris, this
It's like,
because what
I believe. Look, I believe instead of trying to make them attractive, make yourself attractive. Because people will see what it is you doing, and if it's aligned with what they want to do, they'll get in line. If you see a woman and you like, oh yes, she look good, but she look like she work out, you gonna start going to the gym. She look like she eat right. Well, I'm gonna start eating right because I want to be with her. You automatically start doing it. So I think it starts with you.
right, that's what I'm saying. So you got to have the right mindset first. But some people don't always get there immediately. Some people need some help, right? Um, yeah, let me.
But then you have to ask. They have to ask for help because you look like you're trying to make somebody. You look
Right.
like you're trying to force it now. I'm just.
You're trying to get cussed out.
No, and you know what?
yeah.
But here's something. Here's something about that, right? I'm glad you said that, right? Because I believe that there is a level of disrespect, and I heard this therapist say it on TikTok, right? There is, I'm disrespected, and then I'm feeling disrespected. And feeling disrespected means that I just hit your trigger. And actually being disrespected does not hit your trigger. And so when a person wants to cuss you out, what really happens is I just touched your trigger. And I might not have been disrespectful to you, but I just touched that sensitive part that you hadn't really worked through or healed yet. And now you are, oh, well, my feelings are valid. I can't believe you were rude. You said this to me. No, you know what? The real thing that they should probably say is, hey, you know what? I have been working on this and it just hasn't gotten better. Or, that hurt my feelings, but it actually is also true.
But people might not have that in their toolkit.
Right. Right.
I mean, I'm just being real. I believe in therapy. I go to therapy, but I have things in my toolkit that help me to kind of navigate through those types of moments where where something that someone does or says does trigger me. But if you don't have it in your toolkit, you don't know that you don't have that. You're consistently going off of what you've done in the past and not even recognizing that it doesn't work. I'm just being honest,
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I went to Charlotte and I did like a deep dive into some things, right? it was some things and some behaviors that I had picked up that I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I was doing that. Like, but you have to become self-aware, right? Like you really have to do the work, and you have to come face to face with your traumas and your triggers and identify what those things are so that you can better navigate with with the people in your life, be it romantically or not, because your friend might say something that's going to trigger you, a colleague, anybody can. So you just have to become self-aware.
So here's something, and I appreciate that. One thing that I actually dislike now is hearing people say, "Do the work." And the reason why I say that is because no one typically explains. All of these new phrases are out. And I'm not saying you, Lori, but a lot of people
No.
don't explain what doing the work is. So tell me, and for those who are watching for the very first time, tell me what that means to you, and what are the things, or some of the things, not everything, because keep it keep it in. Tell us some of the things that you did to do the work, other than
So
outside of
first,
therapy.
but first I did have to find somebody that I could talk to. Like I'm super calm and private, and a lot of stuff doesn't really bother me, but I realized that I needed to talk to somebody and that it was okay. Um, that there were some things that I knew that were weighing me down and that were not really going to help me get to where I wanted to be in life. Like, not that they're not going to stop me from getting where I'm going to be, but it's like carrying a load that you don't need to carry with you for certain things. Like you want to pack a little lighter on your journey. And I hate to sound cliche, but it's true. Like there's some things that I didn't need to take with me. There were some things that had transpired in my life I probably needed to forgive some people for. It's the little bitty things. It wasn't even big things. It was little bitty things that you hadn't dealt with, or that I hadn't dealt with, that I had to really, really unpack. Because over the years, you keep moving, you keep going. You might not deal with it. This person offends you. This happens. And then because you did not deal with it, the next time somebody else does it, then guess what happens? Then it's triggered you, right? So now you're ready to cuss this person out about something somebody else did to you, like 3 years ago, but it really wasn't about them, right? It really wasn't about them. Another thing that inspired me to do the work was that there is a phenomenal book called The Body Keeps Score.
Mhm.
And I am a huge reader, but essentially all of the trauma and energy, the negative things and positive things, but your body keeps record of those things. And you would be surprised with the levels of anxiety and lack of sleep and depression that sometimes we encounter. Is because our body keeps score of some of those encounters that we've had in our life. And so I just didn't want that. I've never been an anxious person. I'm not, but I started to notice these little small things, and I was like, I can't live like this. But you know me well enough to know I've always been pretty self-aware. Like I do understand some things about myself. No, I'm telling the truth about some things. Like I'm like, dude, I can't handle that. I know I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm
It's true.
honest with myself. And so with that being said, when I realized that I had to have like a real hard talk with myself. And being in Charlotte kind of gave me the ability to do that because it slowed my life down. Then we had COVID. And so it really, really allowed me to sit down and reflect on some things. Looked like journaling. It looked like taking walks in the park by myself. It looked like just apologizing to some people for some things that I may have said or done that I didn't even mean. But as you reach a certain level of enlightenment, you realize, oh my God, that could have possibly been offensive to somebody. And so not being afraid to like work on and heal those relationships. Even if it wasn't some relationships that, even though I wasn't the one that probably had the rift that started it, what was more important to me? Was it being happy and at peace, or was it being at odds with them? And when you answered those questions, I'd rather have happiness and peace over it all.
Fantastic. Let me take a quick station break. If you are in the audience and you have a question, There is a question mark down in the bottom, and you can ask any question. This particular talk, this podcast is about dating and relationships. Anything surrounding that topic, if somebody said something that inspires you, feel free to jump in and put a question in the question box and we'll answer it. We're going to be here for about another 30 or 40 minutes or so. We're only going to do it an hour from 8:30 Eastern Standard Time to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then we're going to be going. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop them. We would love to hear them, and we would love to give you all some positive feedback. Here's the number one reason why I'm saying that. It's because you hear so many people in the dating cosmos, in the podcasting cosmos. They don't give you answers that are positive, and they don't give you answers that are solutions. We will give you solutions. We will give you good, positive answers. And we're healthy people. Now, I do some toxic stuff, right? But that's only just to like, it's only for to drive traffic. That's all it is. I got clickbait all the time. If you go to my Facebook page, I got clickbait. I'm trying to do better. No, I'm not. I'm lying. But
We love your honesty.
Right.
True. If you look at my other social media pages, my TikTok, my Instagram, I'm typically putting out positive things, and I don't have lots of clickbait there. I did do one thing on my birthday, but that's a whole other thing. All right, Sharon, did you also do the work, and what did that look like for you? And are you still doing it?
So it's funny, we're talking about it because I did do a video based on the work, and nobody actually tells you what the work is. And I think it's because it looks different for everybody. There's a general core of things, but it's a thing of accountability and just really kind of finding what your patterns are. And for me, it was like a light bulb when I was going through a divorce. And then I started seeing what are my patterns in my relationships and how can I avoid making the same mistake again. So, of course, that does involve therapy for me. I have a session tomorrow. I see my therapist every 2 weeks. And, she really asked questions that I wouldn't have asked for myself and connected a lot of dots from childhood. So I'm like digging into my other relationships, like what was my relationship with my mom that affected my romantic relationships? Because typically when you're looking at women, you're thinking about what's the relationship with the dad. It wasn't my dad. It was my mom who I was growing up with. And I would have never connected those dots if I hadn't had an outside person kind of hovering in and opening me up to those types of things. So therapy is definitely number one for me, as well as self-help books. So once I started kind of reading one thing, then it introduces you to more, and then you go down this rabbit hole of things of just trying to discover things. And I'm one that I like psychology. I like to understand how people think. So I want to understand how I think. So then I start looking into the love languages. I look at attachment styles. I'm trying to figure myself out so I don't make the same mistakes, because I know at the center of all of my relationships is me. So there has to be some type of accountability for me to not continue these same types of patterns. So therapy, self-help books. I do journal and write out a lot of things. I do a lot of not so much meditation, but for me, it's like my meditation is more like walking. I'm not that one that can sit in the quiet and hum and all that. I need to be out in like nature. I go, right, that's just not me. And I try to do it, and that's just not, I'm not going to try to, you can't really mold yourself into other people's ideas of what they are. You have to find out what works for you. And for what works for me is being out in nature and walking trails and listening to music. And I can sit on the beach. Like I go on solo beach trips at least once a month, and I lay out on the beach. And it's just me and me in the water. And that's what soothes me and kind of grounds me. So I just kind of focus on the things that really ultimately make me happy. And then I'm just trying to figure out myself, because I felt like previously I was losing myself in relationships. I was molding myself into, who I thought is going to love me or like me, and, who do I need to be? And I started to forget who Sharon is to the core. So now that is the work that I'm doing, is just trying to figure out what do I like? What do I like to do? What do I like to listen to? What do I like to read? So it's more of focusing on me, but then also I am dating as well to understand what I do need in another person and want in another person too. So it's a kind of dual thing. I had to understand that you don't always have to do the work solo. You do need to
That's good.
figure out and date and see what your triggers are, because you're never going to be triggered if you don't interact with anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my work.
That is a great, great point. And here's the thing I'll say that I learned too is that exact point. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm healing," right? And
Mm-hmm.
you might be healing, but wait until you get next to somebody that you like, that smells good, that they're attracted to you, and they treat you trigger. Ooh, let me tell you something. You will find that you are not as healed as you thought as you were, and you'll snatch yourself and pull back real fast because you thought that you were on your healing process. And it's important to be in the process of getting to know people and unpack yourself and not just say, oh, I'm going to take this time off from dating. I never recommend completely stepping away from dating. Dewan, I'm going to come to you real quick. Did you do any work in reference to, do you do the work too?
Yes. Mine came when I realized I wasn't the man that I thought I was. You
Boy,
feel
I
me?
tell you.
You know what I'm saying? I hit a wall. I hit a wall about 5-6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I realized the person that I was, while I was thinking it was everybody else and everybody else couldn't get with me, me actually doing stuff to cause the reactions out of people. So I did have to stop and admit that I was wrong in a whole bunch of situations. Like I did a lot of people wrong. I did a lot of women dirty. And I had to sit back and realize that. And once I realized that, I did what Sharonda said, and I went to therapy because I couldn't figure out why I was doing the stuff that I was doing, because that was all that I knew. Then when I went to therapy and started unbagging all of my stuff and doing the work, you begin to realize why I was doing what I was doing. Like those triggers start coming up. And I believe like the work never stops, because once you heal and you figure out one thing, like you said, you mix and mingle with people, I'm just able to catch it now and I don't react the same way. Like someone come up, I'll be like, oh, okay, I can feel it, and be like, okay, that's why I'm feeling like this. I know how to work my way around it instead of just swallowing it and treating somebody bad. Like it's hard, and I think most people don't want to do the work because it involves what Sharon said, accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to go back and admit that you were wrong in those situations. Like you have to travel back through all of your bullshit, every last one of them, and start at the beginning and start working your way back forward and stop at each road sign and be like, okay, why did I do this? What was the reason I did this? Was I wrong? Yes, I was wrong. What could I did otherwise? And then once you hear from that, then you can make the next step. It's all a process. Most people just want it to be something real quick. Like the reason why I'm like this is because I'm dating you. No, it's not because you dating me. I may be giving you them triggers, but you got something else going on that's causing you to react like that you got to figure out.
And you know what's crazy about that? You also hear a lot of people who avoid accountability say things like, I'm just like this, or this is the way that I am. Or the worst part is, I'm a Capricorn, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Gemini, I'm a Taurus, I'm just this way. Taurus is all this way. I'm like, please don't blame your negative toxic traits on your sign, because that ain't got nothing to do with it. That's all you. And as I said a little earlier, I know we had some new people to join in. If you have a question, hit the question box. So we're going to jump to C-Bank's fitness question now, and we're going to answer it. We're going to all give our different perspectives on long distance dating and relationships. I will tell you a quick story time, really, really fast before we answer your question, C-Banks. I have known very few people more than 40 years of my life. There's one person that I grew up next to. I lived in 79, and I won't say the street name because my grandmother still lives there. I lived at 79, and the person next door to me lived at 81. The young lady that lived next door to me, I'll leave her name out as well, but I've known her for 40 years. And in 2000, I don't know, one of those years I was married, I said to her, and this is an honest truth of exactly what I said. I said, why would I flirt with you? Do you see my wife? Those were the words. Now, my wife, my ex-wife now, was probably about 125 pounds soaking wet. And my friend was slightly overweight. And my friend of now 40 years stopped speaking to me because I hurt her. And here's the level of accountability that I took. We hadn't spoken since I said that consistently, probably in about 3 to 4 years. I called her one day in 2017 and I said, hey, listen, I want to apologize for what I said to you. I know that it hurt and I know I was wrong. And when I tell you, I literally now talk to my long-term friend of 40 years at least once or twice a month because I decided to take accountability for what I said. I decided to do the work and say, hey, I'm wrong. Because if you ask anybody, Chris is always right. Ask anybody, I'm always right. But that's like my running joke, right? But I admitted I was wrong. I did the work. I stepped in and I made a shift and I changed. And she now sees a lot of the changes. So much so that she asked me, well, what are you doing while you're dating to make these women fall in love with you? I'm not doing anything different. I'm just a nice guy. Anyways, so that's quick story time. I.C.Y.M.I Fitness, thank you for your question. If you joined the podcast tonight and you have a question, go ahead and hit the question button. We're going to answer I.C.Y.M.I Fitness. So I'll go first. What I think about long distance dating, I think that at some point you have to, if you're going to do it, you all have to communicate. Communicate regularly and communicate often. If you're going to date long distance, you're going to have to do virtual dates, right? Depending on how, because see, some people think that if you live in Decatur and your girlfriend lives in Alpharetta, that's long distance because that's about an hour drive, depending on traffic. It could be an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's a long drive in Atlanta terms. You can live in Jonesboro and she can live in Cumming. First of all, whew, God bless you. You better meet me in downtown or on 285. No, but that's a long distance. And it doesn't, if you look it up on a map, that may not seem like 40 miles may not seem like it, but in Atlanta with traffic, especially if it's high time, listen, if you live in a major city and you got bad traffic like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, LA, that's long distance. But I recommend any type of dating. I recommend that you date a person that you're going to be interested in. But most importantly, do what's best for you and let that person also do what's best for them. But you must communicate. That's most important, right? You must communicate, whether it be by phone, by text, because there will be times where you can't pick up the phone and that person may say, well, they didn't pick up this time. And if a simple, what Sharon said, attachment style, a simple confirming text, hey, I'm preoccupied, I'm doing this, and the third, I'll be able to talk around this time, let's talk then. That literally solves 99% of people's issues when dating long distance. You also have to do this, and I'm going to stop to let everybody else get in here and say their piece. You also at some point have to decide who's going to move, where. You have to include the children, if there are children, and you have to also include the parent of the other children, because you just can't ask another person to move across the country and you don't consider that, because there's a lot involved in that particular thing. But I recommend it. I am for it, but you have to do this. Close the gap. What do you guys think on that?
I don't think love is always convenient. So,
Wow.
I recommend it as well. And you pretty much hit all of the points of making sure there's communication there, making sure there's an end goal. How long are we going to be doing this? And then making sure that you not only do the virtual dates, but when are we meeting? Are we meeting in a certain city? Are you coming to
Yes.
me? Am I coming to you? There's got to be some kind of goal of how often are we going to see each other? And then what is our end goal? Eventually, are you going to move? What are we going to do? So I think you hit all the points that I was thinking.
What would you say would be regular if you can afford it, Sharon? What would you say would be regular, monthly, bi-monthly? Because if you asking me, I want to see you every day or every weekend. But what would you say is regular?
For me, I would say at least monthly. That's good enough. Because I'm just considering, like, even with I'm thinking of my own child, and I, co-parent with dad, and we do week on, week off, and that type of thing. So even just thinking about my own schedule, it might be difficult for me to do it multiple times a month. But it kind of varies month by month. But I would say at least once a month.
And Lori, you were in a long distance relationship at one point. You're kind of a resident expert.
I'm not a resident expert,
I
but I
believe
will say
that.
this. I will say that what you said was right on. You do have to communicate regularly. You do have to have a plan, like, okay, we're going to see each other at this time. We're going to do something fun, virtual dates. We did a ton of virtual dates. um, do whatever the other person's fun thing is. Like we did a wine tasting virtually. We had a lot of fun. Like we had a good time. But I will say though that one of the things is it goes back to self-awareness. If you don't know what your attachment style is, like you said, and if somebody doesn't answer that phone when you call, or you need to see that person, you're having a bad day, like you just have to know yourself, and you have to really, really share that with your partner, because they're missing that whole like cue part, when you're with somebody and you can kind of gauge what's going on with them just by their energy in a room or something like that.
Yep.
So you got to kind of help navigate them through that, because they're operating, in a deficiency right now, because they don't see you every day. They can't tell that, oh, the last 2 days you've been sad if you didn't tell them. You know what I mean? So but I will say you do have to have a plan, and at some point somebody's got to move. I had to move, so so at some point somebody's got
Somebody
to
said,
move.
"Get your behind back to."
So at some point, but you have to have a plan. Yeah.
Okay, I would say, yeah, you most definitely got to have a plan. Like you got to have an end game, but I would say the maturity level of each person. You know what I mean? Even for yourself, like I don't never deal with what somebody else. You got to know yourself enough to know your love language. Like if you somebody that needs affection and you need to be touched every other day or something like that, and you need to feel love, it's not gonna work, because yeah, we can have a good conversation on the phone, but the second the guy in the store tell you cute, you know what I'm saying? You ain't seen me in a while, your eyes gonna flutter. I mean, but that's just real
It's
talk.
real.
You're gonna start feeling like you need that touch. You know what I mean? He's having a good conversation, but he can't touch me right now. You know what I'm saying? So that goes both ways. You just have to know yourself enough to know if you can be disciplined enough in order to go through that. Because even if we do, or even if we are on once a month, stuff happens. Like life happens. You might not be able to come. Maybe 3 months we ain't seen each other. Because I got stuff going on with me, you got stuff going on with you, and within that time, like things change. So you have to be real disciplined and know what y'all working towards in order to make it work.
So
Yes.
I will say that I have successfully dated long distance during the pandemic. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Do
Anyways,
tell.
Right.
yeah, I'm I
I would say,
remember I'm
I
live.
would say, if you said you did it successfully, are y'all
You
still
still in
together?
it. Right.
No, we are not
Yeah, it
still.
wasn't successful.
We are not still in it. But see, here's the thing: success does not necessarily determine the end of us being in a relationship. Success for me, as you were saying, know yourself. What success looks like for me is, did I communicate well? Did I learn something, right? Did I add value to the person long distance? Did I show them who I am without them having to be physically present? Because I'll tell you, I date completely different than other people, I think. Well, I know I do, because I date differently, and I'll talk about that later. But that was successful for me. I dated a young lady in Boston, dated a young lady in Texas, um, Massachusetts, Texas. I'm going to use
I don't
larger
think
city
I don't
dating.
think I don't think I know Boston. We'll have a sidebar later. I don't think I know Boston.
And you and your
uh,
nicknames.
Yeah, right. Because I haven't heard that one. So I'm
Boston,
like, I don't think I know Boston.
Boston, Biloxi, and
I remember Biloxi.
Jersey.
I remember
Boston,
Biloxi.
Biloxi, and Jersey.
I
Those were
might remember Jersey, but Boston.
Jersey was real short.
Do tell.
Tracy was a blip. So we're on live. Condense the information. So I will tell you a little bit. So I'm at Boston. A little quick story time. And you guys are able to tell any of your own personal stories, right? Because it is what it is. Quick story time. I met Boston on a dating app. She actually, and let me tell you this. This is what really excited me about Boston. She actually messaged me first, and she said, "Hey there, I love your pictures." Now, let me tell you something. Ladies, if you want a nugget and a gem on how to actually capture a man's attention, give him compliments. Men are not complimented enough. And if you want to be the first in line on his mind, compliment him often. And I don't mean like every 5 minutes or every day, or every 6 hours or whatever. Just notice him. Like if his beard is tapered right, Mr. Majors, if he got the little, I'm telling you, men are under complimented. And if you want to effectively date on a dating app, give him a compliment about his profile, about something he said. If you see his social media, pick up something he said on his social media and compliment it. But not just like, oh, I like what you said. Give a thoughtful compliment. And her compliment was something like, I love the delivery of your, and I'm not 100% sure, but I love the delivery of how you display yourself on the dating app. I said, oh, you paying attention. Hello. Because I believe that you should, showcase yourself. I have full body pictures that are with good lighting. I have my shirt on in all of my dating pictures. I show myself at like different environments. Like I went strawberry picking, so I have a picture of that. In my dating profile, I have a picture of myself in a suit, so that you can see that I'm not only wearing jeans all the time, but I actually look good in a suit and I can coordinate. So fellas, those are some tips for you. But I met her on a dating app. We exchanged information, and we had great banter. And I am a huge fan of witty banter. Here's another tip for guys: learn how to have witty banter. And women, learn how to respond to witty banter or initiate it. It's perfectly fine for you to initiate some things. And long story short, what happened, the reason why we ended, I lost my nephew like 2 weeks after we met, and I was going through an emotional turmoil. There are some other things that happened, but we successfully dated for about a month and a half, and I loved every bit of it. But that's my quick story time. I believe, thank you, C. Banks. I believe in being very transparent. I don't share a lot of my personal business because most people see me as an extrovert, which I am, but I'm also introverted in a lot of ways. And some people don't realize that about me. So there's a vulnerable share. I'm also an introvert, so I like to be by myself. When my kids go to be with their mom on the weekend, whatever weekend they go her, I'll sit in the house for the whole weekend by myself and do absolutely nothing. It'll be perfectly fine. I might want somebody's company, but I'll still be fine, without it, because I'm okay by myself. Anyways,
I got some questions within your story while you were talking. I mean, not personal, but just, so you said she responded to you first. To the men, do y'all prefer women to approach? How do you feel about women approaching you, even on dating apps or in person?
So it's okay to approach, right? And let me explain to you why I believe that. Because I'm a Christian, I'll say that first. I also cuss, so you might hear me cuss, so don't judge me. I also drink. So that's a whole other story.
Jesus, but he cusses a little. So.
A lot. And if my mama see this, I didn't say it, Mom. They bleeped it out. Anyways, so here's the thing about presenting yourself first. I'm going to make it very, very basic. In the Bible, God made Adam first, right? And the Bible says that he made male and female, he made them. He made them one. And then he took Eve out of Adam. And then he sat Eve in the vicinity of Adam. And all she did was be present. She presented herself, and then Adam pursued. And he gave her a name. In its most basic sense, she was positioned in the right place. Dating is like 90% about positioning and 10% about what you say. 90% about positioning and 10% about what you say. So yes, it's okay to say, to initiate some conversation, a compliment, or say hello. It's perfectly fine, but you still want to allow the man to pursue. But as you allow him to pursue you, you turn around and also give him that same type of pursuit. So absolutely, I believe that. What do you think, Juan?
Well, for me, I don't have a problem with it because I think it all rests on the man. Like for me, if somebody approaches me, I know well enough if I'm able to date you. Like I get approached a lot. I ain't, you know what I'm saying, because I'm a barber, so women come in with their kids, and they don't just flat out say, what's up, what's your number? But you know what I'm saying, the wink, the smile, a little bit extra, you can tell when a woman is into you. You know what I
He's
mean?
also 6 feet tall, so you know.
Say what? What you say?
I said he also 6 feet.
I'm right up on. But you know what I'm saying? It just depends on the situation. Now, if it's too much, I don't want it, because the way I feel, like if you just overly trying to give yourself to me, I don't feel special. I feel like I'm just the guy right there at the moment. Like if you just trying to throw it at me, and I'm like, okay, I feel like you should want to throw it at me, but I don't want you to do it. You know what I mean? You throw it too hard, it's like I'm not special at all. You just see something you like right now. As soon as I move, you're gonna throw it at the next guy. So it's just, for me, it just all depending on how you do it. And if I'm ready for it, I guess I see it like that.
So Majors, you're saying that if she works too hard, then it's kind of like having a whole bunch of chips in a bag.
It's not if she works too
I
hard,
can eat
it's
the whole bag.
if she makes it too easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
If she makes it too easy, then I'm like, okay, it's not anything about me that you're attracted to. I'm just a good looking man that may be sitting in front of you at the moment. Like there's nothing that you really see in me. I'm just the man that looks good that you want to throw it at right now. That's what I'm saying. If she makes me work for it, like she can present herself, and then I'm like, okay, I see the way she's smiling at me. I see the way she just said that she introduced the opportunity. Now I have to go from there. But if she like, here go my number, call me tonight. No.
So I'm gonna ask this as a follow-up, Major. So you said she makes you work for it. So if she opens the door, you saying you're gonna walk through. But if she opens the door and pull you through the door, you're not. You're gonna be like, hold on, I'm good here.
Right. Or she
I
ain't
like
got
that.
to. If she open up the door and she presented a nice way, then I'm gonna go. If you open up the door and you standing there naked, no, I ain't here for it. If you present yourself the right way, be like, okay, I see what she got going. But if she open up the door and all she got is what she offering like that, no. Like I'm a grown man. I'm not 16 no more. Your body doesn't excite me.
Wow.
Like,
What other
I know
questions?
what it looks like. I know what it feels like. So I can look. Once I see that I'm attracted to you, then I start analyzing, because it goes back to everything that I've worked through. I know my triggers, and if you're doing that, I know go down a road that I don't need to go down. You know what I mean? So if she makes me, she gives me the opportunity. Okay, now I'm gonna start paying attention a little bit more. If you sitting there, I may start asking you some questions, see where your mind is, because you may like me, but if your mind not in the right spot, we had a good conversation, but it won't go no further than that.
Well
I'm
said.
scared to ask. But what other questions do you have, Sharon?
I was just going to ask about, you described your dating profile. So when you're looking at the women's profiles, what are some of the things that you're looking for as far as pictures and what they write on their profiles?
I love that question. Okay, because so I'm actually going to be doing a new book, and it's going to be called The Anatomy of Dating. and I'm going to actually include dating profiles in it, right? So here's the things that I look for. Does she have well-lit pictures? Because if all of her pictures are far away, right, and I can barely see her, like she taking a picture by the statue of Giza, but she looked this small, baby, I can't see you. I want to see what I'm going to be getting.
She wants
Help
you
me,
to
help
see that
me.
she is well-rounded and that
Right.
she's been on these vacations.
No, first of all, we don't care about that. Okay, you can go to all the vacations, but come closer to the camera. Okay, have your friend or tourist or whoever take a picture of you and your turban in a well-lit environment. Well lit is majorly important because I'm telling you,
It must
if
be a
you have
thing because
dark,
he said that to me. He said, make sure you have good lighting.
yes,
Yes.
good
That's what
lighting.
he
I
said to me.
told everybody that. I told everybody.
I
So
was like, I have nice lights.
grow up. Okay, so that's number one. Well lit pictures. Have a full body picture here, and I'm gonna say this, and it might be offensive, but I'm gonna just say it because I don't really care. You have a level of insecurity if all of your pictures are from here up. I'll say it again. You are insecure about something about your body if all of your pictures are face up. That means that either you don't like yourself enough or you don't like your body enough. And that's okay. Confidence in whatever you look like means everything. I used to be 160 pounds when I was 24. I'm no longer close to that. But I still have a full body picture. And I'll say, here's some don'ts. Don't do the angle photo, right? Where you taking the photo from up here. That's deception. I personally don't like that. Most men don't like that. You're lying about something, okay? Don't do the photo where you hunched over trying to, cover your belly. Baby, it don't matter if you got a belly. I'm 40 something. We all got a little extra something at this age. We not 25 no more, slim and trim. We all got a little something extra somewhere. In the face, Lori, look at Lori's cheeks. Lori
I know.
she got beautiful cheeks. Look at her cheeks.
But
Right? She wasn't
I've
like
always
that
had
20
big
years
cheeks.
ago.
I
None of us
did.
are. Right?
I did have them.
Nobody goes to the gym 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We got work to do. All right. So, okay, boom. So I also look for conversation starters. So if you say in your bio, ask me, I don't want to ask you
Right.
because I don't know what to talk about you. I've learned nothing. Teach me about you in a small paragraph, 2 to 3 sentences. It's very, very simple to teach me about you. Use feeling words. I feel amazing when I am, like Sharon said, I can just go out and lay on the beach and that's my happy place. I feel at peace. Put that in the bio. Because guess what? When I'm ready to take you somewhere, I want to take you to the beach. Hey, Sharon, what are you doing? XYZ weekend, Martin Luther King weekend. I want to take you to the beach. I just want you to go and sit by the water and just be in your happy place. And I'll leave you there by yourself. If you need me, call me. You gonna be like, baby, yes, he was paying attention. Okay, sorry. Sorry.
You go in your tangents.
Sorry. All right. Sorry. That was my drop my voice a couple octaves. So what else do I look for? Conversation starters, full body pictures, well lit pictures, and then pictures that show the type of activities that you like, right? All your 5 pictures, 6 pictures shouldn't be all activities, but if you like to do golfing, show me a picture of you at Top Golf, right? If you like to be at the beach, be at the beach. But let me say this, and I'm gonna say this about because I'm gonna jump in there on beach pictures. There is a way that women will showcase themselves, and I'm not a woman, but I believe that women will put a bikini photo on, and it is a close picture of their décolletage and their cleavage. And men will see Damn, she got some big breasts. Swipe right. Men are not thinking, oh, you had a great time at the beach. You might take a picture of the side of your booty and your booty hanging out the bikini. You might be thinking, oh, girl, I look good. I had fun at the beach. You are thinking that. We are not. We're thinking, damn, she got a nice ass. I probably want to. That's what we are probably thinking. So be very mindful of the tasteful pictures that you put up. That's something else. You want to be tasteful, but also you want to be, don't like be fully covered up, because we're not trying to marry a nun, but at least be tasteful, right? And women know how to be tasteful, but I'm just saying, and a woman might say, oh my God, you just sexist, or you so sexual. Hey. One of the things that you want to know is how a man thinks, because if you want to get closer to a relationship and out of singledom, you need to understand how men think, and that's crazily important. I'll stop there. Juan, are you on dating apps?
That's what I was just going to say. I've never done the dating app. I never have. I tried it. I tried it once. Like, I remember I was sitting in Kroger Park and I was like, let me make a profile. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, I'm not that old, but it's just like I feel like old school. You know what I'm saying? I like conversation. I like people to meet and talk to me, because I got a great personality. I don't think it comes across good on dating app. I don't think it would. You know what I'm saying? I guess I like to see something that I like and approach her and talk to her and introduce myself the right way.
And here's the thing, your dating app, and this is what I think is so important. It's great. So people say there's pee in the pool, right? And Dewan said, I want to meet people in person. Here's the thing to everybody on dating apps. The same people that are on dating apps are the same people that are in Kroger, are the same people. Oh, and I left one out. I'm sorry. I'm gonna add this. Same people that you meet at the grocery store, at the kids' soccer games, or at the athletic events, or at sporting events, or at concerts, or at the club, or at the bar, at the hookah lounge, that you see walking in the street jogging. Those are the exact same people. Now, some of them are creeps. I get that, but some of them are not, and you have to do what's called sorting. Let me say this, and this is my last thing that I'll say. Please do not have resting bitch face. If all your pictures are serious, baby, you're not approachable. Now, I don't like to smile. That's fine. Here's what men think. She's unapproachable. She's serious all the time. She's not fun. So if you want to shift your dating life, you ain't got to show your pearly whites. And maybe they're not white. Maybe they ecru. Maybe you working on it. Maybe you getting some veneers, right? Whatever. Maybe you got some teeth whitening. I ain't gonna front. I just got some teeth whitening stuff the other day in the mail. So I'm working on it, right? I'm improving myself. But smile, please. And it's not like we need you to smile. Smiling shows approachability. I'll say this and then I'll end here because we're right at our time. If you have the ability to send voice notes, use voice notes over text once you match, because now you can create a conversation. Texting takes lots of effort. Voice notes, you can literally change the game of your dating. I hope that helps. All right. We're at the end right here at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Laura J., go ahead and sign off. Give your outro, whatever you want to say to the people to say goodbye.
Well, it was a pleasure to talk with you guys tonight. We hope that you found some of this information to be helpful, and we wish you a great rest of your week.
Ms. Days.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This was a pleasure to join you guys. And follow me on Instagram, Sharon Days, Love, Hope, Faith. I'm out.
I love that tagline. Majors.
Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm Dewan Majors, a.k.a. Major Cuts. What I will leave y'all with dating, this is just something that I do. Work on yourself. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the more I work on myself, whatever's out there for me, it's come towards me. I don't have to go out and chase, because as long as I build myself up, what's coming for me is going to be there. And what I know about women, once you build yourself up, the right woman will stand in your way and make sure you see her. Like,
That's right.
I don't like chasing. You chase the stuff that you're looking for. But when something is for you, they will stand right there. Anything you need, trying to help build you up, they'll be there. So work on yourself, build yourself up, and you will get what's there for you.
Um, Chris Davis, I am a two-time published author. My first book is The Edge of Greatness. If you are in the dating space and you get tired of boring questions, you can get my second book, which I don't actually have on me. I have a copy, I just don't have it in my presence. It's called The Ultimate Vetting Guide. It literally allows you to change the landscape of your dating and your dating questions and conversation and your vetting questions. It allows you to ask more in-depth connecting questions. And then on top of that, the second part of it is you're able to jot down, it's a workbook, so you'll be able to jot down the person that you're dating. Then also, it allows you to be introspective and ask yourself questions about your new boo's responses. So if you ask them, what does dating look like to you? You can now ask yourself, how do I feel about what they said? On a 1 to 10, how much does that matter? Again, I'm Chris Davis. Hope that helps. Peace. See everybody next time.